Welcome, welcome, world. This is the Seymone and Tasha show. I'm your host, Seymone.
And I'm Tasha.
And we invite you to just come in today, sit down, relax. We're going to be just talking about why we are here and why we're doing this podcast. So, Tasha, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Ooh, where do I start?
Start from the beginning. Like, how did you come up when you were youngest? Talk about being young and how you came up.
So I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to the parents of Stuart Carson and Brenda Anderson. Both of my parents are now deceased. And the environment I grew up was not so great. A poor environment and didn't have a lot of resources growing up. And pretty much raised myself and fend for myself. I was the only child in that moment. So yeah, had to fend for myself and figure it out.
All right. So how old were you when your parents passed?
When my mom passed, I was 7. And when my dad passed, I was 24, I believe.
Okay. And then Tasha, you mentioned that you raised yourself. Was there another mother figure that you felt you had coming up, or?
Not initially. My home that I lived in with my dad was a revolving door. And when I say that, it was like, the whole drug scene because he was a kingpin. But as far as mother figures, I did not. Mm-hmm. And so I found different church families that I aligned with, and I started kind of hanging out with their kids and their families. But it came a point where my dad couldn't take care of me any longer. And so he did ask a sibling of mine, my sister, to step in and care for me. So that's when I started to live with my sister. And so she became, that mothering figure because she didn't have any kids of her own.
Okay. So that must have been difficult and, for you. And I know, you have a son that you birthed. And
Yeah.
I'm wondering, how was it for you raising your son when you didn't really have an example of a parent or how to be a mother?
It was interesting. I made it happen, but what I will say is parenting does not come with a playbook. Mm-hmm. There's no book to parenting. And so in my opinion, you raise your child on how you were raised or what you saw growing up. And so you kind of mimic that, what you think is right. There's no playbook, so you kind of just learn as you go, if you will. And so that was me. Mm-hmm. I did what I thought I needed to do to raise my son and for him to be, a respectable young man.
And you have, Tasha, a very entrepreneurial spirit where you really seem to care about women excelling and helping them to excel. And that's kind of like why we're doing this podcast overall, because we both care about helping women to excel and just to be able to achieve their dreams and their goals. Where do you think that desire came from, that you have? Where do you think that came from?
Well, I do believe it came from my environment. The environment wasn't the best that I grew up in. Mm-hmm. And I always had in my gut, like I wanted more. And I knew that like the home that I would live in would be much nicer. I would always have food and nice clothes and nice cars. So I always had that vision, even as a small child. And I think because I don't know, it was just something in my gut that it was something better than what I had initially growing up. And I really was able to see more of that when my sister started raising me. Yeah. Because she is definitely a diva. And so I'm sure that had a lot to do with that and cultivating that, me wanting to have more for myself.
Yeah. And I know that even in your early adult life, you had struggles like I think most of us do. Yeah. That's another reason why we're doing this podcast. And we talked about that in another episode is that, as we come into our adult life, for the majority of us, maybe our parents weren't able to pay for our weddings. They weren't able to
Right.
put down payments on our homes and things like that. So many of us struggled with maybe lights getting turned off, gas
Yeah.
bill getting, the bills being late and things like that.
Exactly.
Was that your experience too?
Absolutely. As a single parent, you do go through trials and tribulations and you have to figure it out. Like you have to figure it out by any means necessary. Hopefully, it's something legal,
Yeah, yeah.
but you figure it out. I mean, you do what you got to do. You have a child or a small person looking up to you and looking at your every move. So, as a single parent, you just do what you got to do.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the women that we work with, they're in that situation.
Yes.
Where they're trying to figure things out, and we walk them down that path where we take them from a place where they're just confused and not even knowing what their purpose is to
Right.
finding, clarifying their purpose, and then going on a path that leads them to success. Now I know when I grew up, I was born in Guyana in South America, and then we came to America when I was still in elementary school.
Okay.
So I grew up in Brooklyn, New York.
Shout out to Brooklyn, y'all.
And when I look back on my childhood, I think, in my mind, I had the best childhood in the whole wide world.
That's all.
I had the best mother in the whole wide world. That's how I see it.
Right.
And when I graduated from high school, then I joined the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And that's where I started like seeing that I could achieve the things that I wanted to achieve. That's where I really discovered that if I put my mind to something, I could do it. So, but even with that, my path in my early adulthood was still rough. It was still, bills not being paid, things being turned off, or things like that I know a lot of sisters go through. So the path was rough, but in my mind and in my spirit, I was always an optimist. And I always felt like no matter what happened, I would land on my own 2 feet. That's one thing I always felt, that I would always come out on top and always land on my own 2 feet. So at a certain point, I became a social worker. And
you guys, wait. We got to
missed
back up
another
in
point.
Simone's story. She forgot to let y'all know she was a drill.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yes, I was.
Uh-huh.
One
drill
of
instructor.
my main goal in joining the Marine Corps was to be the youngest drill instructor on the drill field, and to be a drill instructor. So I came out of New York, I came out of Marine Corps, so I was hardcore, rough and tough, and all that stuff. Semper Fi to all the Marines out there. So I was all of that. So what I had to learn as I became a social worker was to dial it back. And I know from my experiences in relationships, like people probably tell you, well, she has a lot of dialing to do. She had a lot of dialing to do. Hopefully I'm dialed back now a little bit more than I was, even though people could tell me that they still see that Marine Corps spirit on me. They still see that Brooklyn spirit on me. I guess it's still going to be there.
Absolutely.
But I hope that when people interact with me, they can feel that love and kindness that's coming from me, because that's the space that I'm coming from now, So when I became a social worker, one of the positions I had was working at Grady Hospital in Atlanta with a project called Project Prevent. And I had experiences. We were working with pregnant women who were addicted to drugs.
Oh, wow.
And I had experiences where I had to go into the crack house, had to go into the worst areas to get this woman out and into the program, into somewhere safe. It even got to a point for some of these women, because drugs, they take over your life so much, that one of the ladies, she revealed to us that the drug dealer said to her, would you sell your baby?
Wow.
And she actually stopped and she thought about it, and she said, well, how much would you give? And that was heartbreaking for me. That working with women in those situations, it was heartbreaking. And what I saw at the time is that women can excel in life if they have a direction, if they know which direction they're going. But the women that I was working with as a social worker, they didn't have any direction.
Okay.
And from that experience as a social worker, I vowed that I would help women excel. I would help women, unlock or uncover what their purpose was and help them excel in life. And as I went along in life, I found for me that the key to those things comes through meditation and comes through manifestation, you know, knowing what you want, being able to focus on it and being able to bring that about. And we're going to talk about meditation more in details.
Yes.
But this is we just want to share with y'all where our passion comes from for helping women and why we do what we do.
Yes.
And Tasha, I know that you have a passion for women in so many things. Like you're an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, and you have a lot of communities. Well, not a lot, but you have quite a few communities that you're in with women that you're helping women to excel in. Even your mentors are helping you to excel. And you want to talk a little about that?
Well, I've always had a heart for people. I always like to help, and whether it be man or woman, I'm always willing to lend that helping hand. And I don't like to see people suffer or go through different things. So I feel like if it's something that I can offer to them, and not always monetary things, it could be just a listening ear. I feel like I've did a little bit of my part to help them get, to that next little section or that next level where they're trying to go. Because sometimes people don't really necessarily want your advice or need your advice. They just need somebody to listen and not really comment or give feedback. They just need you to listen to whatever it is they have going on in that moment.
Yeah. So definitely Tasha and I both combined have a lot of experience, a lot of experience. We're new to the podcasting game, but we're not new to the game of life. And, in her work and in my work, I've had the opportunity to help many families, many women, many even men, women, and families all together.
Right.
One of the first places that I worked in Atlanta was the Nicholas House, and that's a house where families stayed there when they were in transition. In other words, they didn't have a home, so they were able to get a place at the Nicholas House. And it was just so sad to see that even families that were coming out of the military, I mean, you serve your country and now you find yourself on the street, So those type of situations really just put a calling on my heart and my life to help people out. And that's what I do, why I do what I do. Right now, I've had a wonderful life. And the more we talk about it, you'll see I've traveled to so many countries, traveled the world on mission or for fun, for relaxation.
Right.
I've done so many things, like almost everything that I wanted to do, I've done it. I've stepped out on faith and I've done it. And right now, I could just sit back and I could just chill, but there's just something that won't let me do that. And that's why Tasha and I are here doing the podcast, because there's something for both of us that it won't let us just sit back.
Yeah, we still have work to do. We still have work to do, guys. And so, that's where me and Seymone are at right now. Like she said, we both have a calling that, keeps telling us like we have more work to do. We're not finished yet. So we got to keep going.
Yeah. So definitely y'all keep rocking with us. Make sure you like and subscribe and tell a friend to tell a friend.
Absolutely.
We're going to keep dropping gems. We're going to keep sharing with y'all. We're going to keep, inviting you into our world and inviting you to be part of the communities that we are building,
Absolutely.
Communities where women have an opportunity to discover their purpose and to work on manifesting the dreams that they've always wanted to see come to pass in their lives.
Yep.
And Tasha, nutrition is a big part of it.
Absolutely.
Because we want to live for a long time. We want to see others living for a long time and in a healthy way, And so that's why you see these products up here. Tasha, tell us what that is over there, please.
So as you guys know, we're all things health and wealth, right? And so with that being said, you always need to make sure you have your multivitamin. And so Seymone and I take a liquid multivitamin, and it's called NutriBurst. And NutriBurst, you see here, it's like having 10 salads. Now, I don't know about any of you guys, but I eat pretty healthy, but I don't eat 10 salads a day. I just don't. What about you?
Yeah, that would be a lot, Tasha. Come on.
So, and then the other thing that we always incorporate is our cleansing tea that help cleanse out our gut and helps with your stomach. So it keeps your stomach, flat. It's going to clean that gut out, get all the junk out. And yeah, that is an amazing product for the taste alone, guys. You don't even know it's a cleanse. So, with that being said, just make sure you guys always incorporate your liquid vitamin, your cleanse, and to stay healthy, make sure you're exercising, getting your water in, and staying hydrated.
Right. Yep. And if you want more information, we're going to put a link in the description so you can get your NutriBurst and your tea and stay healthy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We want to be rocking with all of y'all for a long time. We want to see you on our retreats. We want to see you in our masterminds.
Yes.
We want to see you on our Zoom calls. We want to see you in one-on-one sessions.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Continue to, stay healthy. It's a process,
it is
that we're in. It's a process where our goal is to, at least walk every day, have some movement every day.
Yep, at least 30 minutes, guys. Get it in. Yep.
Do your stretches. Do it. Yes. Just start off small, like we said before. You don't have to start off right at 30 minutes. You can start off at 2 minutes if that's all you got to get in the beginning. 2 minutes.
And grab a chair. If you can't, do regular exercise, you can actually exercise in a chair.
Yeah, but let's get it together, y'all.
Let's go.
All right. This is Seymone
and Tasha.
Remember to like, to subscribe, to comment, and to
share.
To share.
Yes.
Tell somebody else about it.
Absolutely.
And we will continue on this journey, bringing you some gems. Yeah. Stay with us, y'all. And as you can see, sometimes we release the episode more than one time a week. So, yep. Hit the notification button so you can get all the notifications of when we're releasing videos, when we're releasing the podcast.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Take care. This is Seymone and Tasha. Peace out.
Peace.